All right. Well, thank you for another episode of the Success Agent Podcast, where we interview top people in their industry, top agents, broker owners, and thought leaders. And today we have got Paul Ross, and he is the author of Subtle Words That Sell. And we're going to figure out a way to rethink how we do our business to get at least 30% more business in 90 days.
Crazy claim, but it's true.
All right, Paul, tell us a little bit about yourself, why you wrote the book, and give us 3 little nuggets of wisdom that we can share to our audience today.
Wow, we're going to hit the ground running. So I am a master hypnotist. Be okay with that as you allow your curiosity to come to the forefront of your thinking. I'm a master trainer and practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming, and that's the study of how language structures consciousness, shapes decisions, and drives behavior. And I am a speaker. I'm the author of this book, Subtle Words That Sell, How to Get Your Prospects to Convince Themselves to Buy and Add Top Dollars to Your Bottom Line. And I didn't put this in my bio, but I'm a former fairly famous dating coach. And I learned a lot of these techniques from teaching that field, because when you think about it, a sale is very much like a date, and a date is very much like a sale. You've got to do your prospect outreach. You've got to create rapport. You've got to ask the right qualifying questions, find out what your prospect's needs are. You've got to do your close, and then you've got to overcome objections. So by coming from outside the field and by coming from the field of hypnosis, I was able to see things in the world of sales. I work a lot with realtors because my parents were realtors. And you wanted 3 nuggets of wisdom right now?
Yeah, right now.
Okay, let's jump right in. But
all right,
this is very unconventional. This is not something that you can take off the shelf. First, you're not selling real estate. You're always selling decisions and good feelings about decisions. Think of yourself as a decision service technician. Second thing is, if you stop and think about it, the most useful way to sell a decision is to get the other person, or to lead the other person, or to structure the other person's consciousness in such a way that they're able to receive all the facts, data, and figures. And we'll unpack that in a minute. But I teach my students to think, what states of mind do I want my prospect to be in? Do I want them distracted? Do I want them cynical? Do I want them unfocused? No. How do we create states of focus, of deep rapport, of even wanting to see you as a leader and themselves as a follower? So if you think of selling as about being engineering states of consciousness, that's a whacked out, bat bleep, crazy idea. But the fact of the matter is, it's the very ideas and ways of thinking and behaving that stand so far outside of what you're used to doing, that hold the potential of bringing you results that are so far outside those that you're used to getting. Can I use a metaphor here to illustrate this idea about states of consciousness?
sure.
Let's say we have a sheet of gold foil and we have a sheet of cardboard, and we want to conduct an electric current up of one of those. Which one's going to conduct the electricity? It's not a trick question.
The gold.
Exactly. We know this. So think of your prospect state of mind as being like that conductive medium. And the electricity are the facts, data, figures that we want to present about the home that we're selling, or the home that we want them to list with us. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And the third thing is that every objection is just a cry for help to make a better decision.
Makes sense.
Yeah, those are the 3 nuggets, and we can unpack those or go whatever direction you want to go. But this is pretty exciting stuff, and you can tell already that I love this.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and unpack each one of those.
Okay, so let's think about this. You're never selling decisions or good feelings about. You're never selling real estate. You're always selling decisions and good feelings about decisions. Well, think about this. In order for that person to take the action of listing with you or buying the home, it just seems logical to me, and to you as you're listening, they have to make the decision to do it. So how do you guide someone to make a decision? On what level is the decision made? Well, science has shown us that we want to think of ourselves as rational creatures. Have you read the book Predictably Irrational?
No, I have not.
Oh, you need to read that book by Daniel Ariely, where he talks about how 75 to 80% of our decision making, our perception is done on the subconscious level. So we want to learn to address the subconscious level, the subconscious or unconscious mind. I use them interchangeably. It really doesn't matter what the label is. We want to know how to communicate with that level of their mind so they make the decision. That makes sense?
Yeah, so give us an example.
Okay, let's say that you're going to make you're going to present your marketing plan. You're going in to list a home and you have to present your marketing plan, correct?
Mm-hmm.
The typical thing would be to say, and this is just a generalization. I understand that every agent's a little bit different. Before I present this marketing plan to you, I want to make sure you feel comfortable asking any questions that come up. And oh, here's the marketing plan. And you might show them, well, here's how we've sold these many homes in your area, and we've sold them for this amount of money, and blah, 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 blah. The challenge with that is even if you have rapport with the person, you're still doing something to them. Before I show you this marketing plan, correct? You get it? But I teach what I call implied relationship words that go like this. Before we explore this marketing plan together, now just look at that. We explore together. What does that imply? We're doing something with them. We're doing something on the same side of the table. Before we explore this together. Together is another word that implies that we are on the same side of the table. I invite you. Well, what does it mean to invite someone? Invitation implies either a relationship that's already existing or one that's about to take place. It also implies something of value. If I invite you to do something, it means that I have a gift I'm going to give you. I invite you to share the questions, not ask the questions. What's the difference between saying share questions and ask questions? When we share, we imply relationship. So in the space of that one sentence, we're creating a state of mind on the unconscious level that implies a deep relationship, a relationship of trust, a perception that we are on the same side of the table as they are. And we're doing this, here's the other clever thing, explore. As we explore this together, when there's an exploration, there has to be a leader, and therefore, for every leader, there must be a what?
Follower.
That's right. So on the unconscious level, as far-fetched as this may at first have seemed to you, we're creating the perception, even if it's 33%, we're creating the perception on the unconscious level that they are following us. And we're doing that in the space of one sentence. That's the power of words. Words, that's why I talk about subtle words. Words are powerful. Words can structure our consciousness, shape our decisions, drive our behavior. Is that making sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense because you're tapping into a portion of their willingness to want to belong to something, and you're drawing them in. So like using words like inviting and
share,
together and share, it means that, you know, and all of those things underline that the person you're speaking to is that you care about them before you care about your product.
Exactly right. So there are all sorts of techniques to establish relationships, and I'm not knocking those. I'm simply saying if you're not addressing the subconscious level of people's decision-making process, then you're leaving a tremendous amount of money on the table, and you're not being of service to them. I redefine sales. Sales is not just about service. Sales is about service times suggestion. Sales is about leadership, and you cannot get leadership unless, first of all, you're in the right state of consciousness and you've got your prospect in the right state of consciousness. You can do it, but it's going to be watered down and weak.
Sure, it's not just being an expert in what you do, it's being
So, yeah.
someone that they want to follow.
Right. So you can be an expert, but so what? Maybe the other person doesn't trust that they can understand what you're an expert in. Maybe they've heard dozens of experts. Let's be blunt. Unless you've discovered cold fusion or anti-gravity or wireless teleportation, basically what you're selling is a commodity. Real estate is a commodity. And even if you've taken lots of training, there are tons of agents who've also taken that training. Chances are your prospect has heard it before. And a tactic identified is a tactic disarmed. So yes, if your sales process is working for you, that's great. I like working with champions who are looking to become super champions. That's my ideal client. My ideal client is someone who's doing $600,000, $1 million a year in commissions and wants to take it to the next level. I'll work with people who are not yet there. But the thing of it is, they have a sales process that works. They just want to take it to the next level. They don't know how to use subconscious selling.
Right. And if you're able to, take your close ratio from, 80 or 90% to 100%.
Well, no one's going to get 100%.
But I mean, people like me, alpha salespeople, we think we can.
Okay, that's fine. But let's say you're at 30% and you take it to 40%. That 10%, if you're selling an expensive home, can mean a lot of money in your pocket.
Absolutely. Yep. So what was the next point that you made there?
Oh, any objection is just a cry for help to make a better decision. So this is just a belief system of mine. My belief is that people don't know how to make good decisions anymore because your prospect, your potential client, whatever you want to call them, is numbed out, dumbed down, and distracted. Do you see this thing I'm holding? This iPhone? This is the #1 enemy to human intelligence, and it's also a boost to human intelligence. I challenge anyone out there. I don't care if COVID is taking place or not. People are still walking around with their faces in their phone. So nowadays, people have the attention span of goldfish, and it makes it difficult for them to make a good decision because they're tuned out. I was working on a project with a trial lawyer to teach attorneys. I said, look, you don't need to get your clients to not believe the other side. All you need to do is your jury, the jury. All you have to do is to get the jury to zone out when the other side is talking. Just get their minds to zone out and check out. And people are checked out. Your client is usually on some level checked out. So, and the other thing is they don't trust their ability to make a good decision because a lot of things that were good decisions became bad decisions when the real estate market crashed. That trauma is still there in the collective psyche of people. The banks crashed, the real estate market crashed. I remember my bank. Do you remember Washington Mutual Bank?
No,
Washington Mutual was huge. There was Wells Fargo, Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, and then Washington Mutual. I remember one weekend, I drove by my Washington Mutual. The sign was down. There was no sign. And Monday morning, it was Chase. Chase had bought Washington Mutual up for a dime on the dollar.
Wow.
So even the old phrase, you can take it to the bank, didn't make sense anymore. We have it's true. We have tremendous division in this country. I don't know when you'll be listening to this podcast. It's October 15th as we record it. We have a presidential election coming up. The country is never, I'm not going to get into politics, wherever you are, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, I don't care. We've never seen such division and contrary messages and bombardment anywhere. So people need help in making that decision. Does that make sense? And destroying objections is one of my favorite things. By the way, at the end of this, I'll tell you how you can get my free video training. It's 10 minutes long on destroying objections.
Awesome. So, and lastly, you talked about the conductivity.
Oh, that was just a metaphor for getting your prospect in the right state of consciousness, the right state of mind.
Awesome. So give us an example of destroying objections.
Oh, I love this plea. I was going to plead with you. So let's say your prospect says, and my parents were realtors, just to back up just a bit. My parents were realtors. And my parents made a big mistake. And one of the big and I love my parents. I'm not putting them down. I miss them to this day. My mama passed in 2007. My dad passed in 2008. They were realtors, but the problem is they wanted to be liked more than anything. And you know what happens when you want to be liked more than to make the sale. It's not a good thing.
No.
And oftentimes they would hear, can you come down a little bit in your commission? We think your commission's a little high.
Mm-hmm.
And they would do it. So I'm going to give you all something that's going to destroy that forever for free.
Nice.
Here it comes. Can you come down a little bit in your commission? Or the agent, we saw an agent who offered to do it for this lower commission. Say, well, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, with the right agent, you're not paying a commission. You're investing in skills. Maybe you'll get lucky with the bargain basement option, but do you really want to gamble with the most important investment of your life, your home?
Yeah.
You see the power of that one?
Mm.
So you're actually, in the back of my book, I talk about how to create objection amnesia. You're taking that objection and you're virtually wiping it off of their mental map. Do you like that one?
That's great.
It's really, really good. And there's another one now where they say, why should I forget this, I taught it to about 2 years ago to a seminar of realtors, and there were a lot of mortgage loan officers in the room. I work with mortgage loan officers too. That's really fun to do. It was something about, well, you know, why should I list with you when we have these services online that guarantee they'll do it? Do you know what I'm talking about, where they guarantee? And I'll say something like, well, if you want to trust your home to an algorithm, an unaccountable algorithm, that's fine. But I'm always, you can't talk to an algorithm, whereas I'm always one phone call away to assist you with the most important asset of your life, your home. So you're reframing the meaning of everything. I first got this technique, if I can tell a little story.
Sure. Back
when I was a dating coach, I had a client give me $10,000 cash. He begged me to take him to a bar. It wasn't really a bar. It was a restaurant where they had a meeting area at night, a patio outside. He begged me because I just didn't take my students out anymore. So I thought, 10 G's, I'll do it. For a couple hours of work, I'm on it. So I took him, and he was striking out so badly. Have you ever been embarrassed for another person? Not by another person, but embarrassed for them. Yeah. It's even worse. You just want to die. I felt so bad for this poor guy. And so I said, let's get out of here. It was 2 hours of him getting beaten up mercilessly because he's being clueless. And we're standing there waiting for our cab. This is way before Uber. And I saw a very beautiful woman standing 10 feet away waiting for her cab. I said, look, there's a lovely lady waiting for her cab at the end of the evening. Now, for some reason, it went in the wrong way. And she turned into a rage monster. She began swearing at me with cuss words that would make a sailor turn white. She suggested I do things with my body parts that were anatomically impossible. It was pretty nasty. My student got very angry. He went to charge at her. I put my arm on it. I said, no. She can come from wherever she wants. We decide how we respond. Look at her. She's someone's daughter. She's someone's sister. She's someone's best friend somewhere. She's deeply loved. Now, there's a moment of confusion on her face, and then she burst into tears, ran over to me, threw her arms around me, kissed my cheek multiple times, and said, oh my God, I've never felt so loved in my life. I am so sorry. This had nothing to do with you, and blah, blah, blah. She said, can I have your number? I said, well, I'm taken. See you later. We jumped in the cab. Now, what's the point of that story? First of all, I stayed non-reactive. I didn't make it about me. How many times as you're listening to this, you agents out there, have you made a deal falling through or a rejection or a no about you? I didn't make it about me. And next, I didn't make it about her. That's the more subtle point. I didn't say this woman is a B word or this woman is a C word. I thought, this is just a human being. They're going through their process of feeling pain, and they're turning their pain into rage, because Rage and anger gives us the perception that we're at cause. Being hurt gives us the perception we're at effect. And we always want to feel a cause as humans. Even though it's an illusion, we're just at the effect of our anger. So I didn't take it personally. I didn't make it about her. And then I changed the meaning of the interaction by interrupting her pattern. Her pattern of expectation was I was either going to what? Yell at her, apologize to her, or just slink away. I didn't do any of those things. She needed to make a better decision than to be stuck in rage and stuck in pain. I assisted her in making that decision by staying cool, by believing it wasn't about me, it wasn't about her, and also finally believing that her first decision, her first way of acting was not her best way. It was my job to assist her in expanding her range of choices. So you could even look at all selling as being about expanding the range, expanding the consciousness of your prospect to include possibilities of winning where they never thought they could truly win before.
That's amazing. I mean, it really comes down to, we get, as realtors, we get so caught up in the transactional part of real estate and less about the, truly caring about our client, whether you know them or not, and coming from a perspective of humility and really, digging deeper beyond the sale to bond with your client.
Now, how can you do that if you're taking it personally?
Right.
And the thing is you're always told don't take it personally, but no one gives you a technique to do that. I give techniques to not take it personally. I show you how to stay grounded in your body, breathe from your belly, take that angry energy, just let it flow through you so it doesn't take hold of you. I teach techniques in my courses on how to do that. I hate this stuff when they say, just learn from every experience. Do they teach you a specific method on how to do it?
No.
No, I teach methods on how to do it. So this is part of my claim. My claim is it's not that the other courses aren't good. It's that they're incomplete. They're leaving things out. They're leaving out how to structure and expand the consciousness of your prospect. They're leaving out how to learn from experience. They're leaving out how not to take it personally. They're just giving you the what, they're not giving you the how. And I always got so peed off by that kind of thing.
Yeah,
when I encountered it.
You do definitely a lot of, what you're talking about there is a very, very high level development of emotional intelligence,
But it can be done by anyone, because I took guys who had no emotional intelligence, remember? And I taught them to be emotionally intelligent. So if you don't think that's a difficult job, you're not paying attention. So if I can do that, I can take people who are reasonably competent and have a reasonable degree of emotional intelligence and make them much better at that.
Yeah.
That's my claim to fame. Because I'm coming from outside the field, I'm not stuck in the prejudices and the nearsightedness of the field.
Yeah.
One more.
Yeah.
My parents used to say buyers are liars and sellers are yellers. And that, to me, again, that's not looking at the other person. That's taking it personally, whether you know it or not, when you say something like that. Even if it is true, even if it's true that buyers are liars and sellers are yellers, it doesn't help you to view it that way.
Right. Yep. And that still is a saying that you hear quite often. And it doesn't solve
help.
The problem. It doesn't solve your ability to interact with your clients.
And it's taking it personally. It's not showing you how to learn from the lesson. Mm-hmm. It's not showing you how to be a champion. One of the distinctions between true champions, I'll give this one away for free. And I don't have time to show you how to do it, but I'll give it away for free. Champions are interested in the sale, but they're invested in their skills. And a breakfast of bacon and eggs, the chicken is interested, the pig is invested. So I'm not saying you should be an animal. I'm just giving you the metaphor. Does this make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, awesome. Well, Paul, this has been great. I think there's some
more. I want to talk more.
Well, if they want more, they can get a hold of your seminar, grab your book.
Yeah, can I say how to do that?
Are sold. So
Well, may
go
I
ahead.
say how do they get, can I
Yeah.
say how they can get in touch with? So I have 2 free courses, video courses. They're 10 minutes long. One is on how to destroy objections, and the other one is how to double the power of your sales presentations. If you go to Paul Ross book, it'll show you how to get the book on Amazon, but it will redirect you to the link to pick up my courses for free. They're 10 minutes long, and the reason I give away so much free stuff is because what I'm teaching is so off the wall and so out there. The only way people are ever going to decide to buy one of my courses or trainings is if they take the free stuff and actually see the results. So paulrossbook.com is the way to get in touch with me.
Awesome. So that's the best way they can reach you.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, Paul, thanks again for taking a little bit of time out of your day.
I love it. What a way to
going out there and changing the world one subtle word at a time. And we really appreciate that. And we thank you for being here. And for those of you guys tuning in, we're going to try to get this episode out pretty quickly here. So in November, for those of you guys that have been following me, we're going to be putting out a real estate investing course once again in person here in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And all the details will be a part of that in the show notes. So thanks again, Paul. You guys have a great, awesome week, the rest of your week. Thank you for being here. And we will see you online, and people will grab a piece of your book there and grab some nuggets of change in their world to go out there and be better real estate agents by caring and being more a part of the emotional side of transactions rather than the taking things personally. So thanks again.